Hello there, in today's video I'll be showing you how to make a dual line brush like this one in Procreate. To start off, I'm going to make a new canvas in Procreate. Mine is simply going to be a square that's set to 2000 by 2000 pixels at 300 dpi. Now within Procreate, I'm going to choose a brush that doesn't have any texture to it, so the built-in monoline brush will be great for this. I'm then going to draw a circle and then hold and tap to create a perfect circle, and then I'll just fill that shape. Now with the selection tool, I'm going to make sure that uniform is selected, snapping is turned on, and now I can simply resize my circle. I'm then going to move my circle to the top center of my canvas, so just until I see that yellow line appear telling me that it's centered. You want to ensure that your circle is close to the top of the canvas without actually touching that edge. Now I'm going to go up to my layers and dragging from right to left, I'm going to choose to duplicate this layer. And now I can drag this duplicated circle down until it's at the opposite end of the canvas and I know it's in line with the other circle because I have those guidelines showing me that it is. I can now go back to the layers panel and merge these two layers so both dots are now on one layer by pinching the two together, and again making sure that neither of the dots I've made are touching the edges of the canvas. Now I'll go up to the wrench icon in the top left of Procreate, tap add, and then copy canvas. Then I can go over to my brush library and tap the plus sign to make a custom brush. From the menu on the left, I'm going to tap shape and then go up to the edit button in the top center to edit the shape of my brush. So I'll tap edit, import, then paste. To invert my canvas, I'm just going to tap with two fingers like this because I want the canvas to show white dots on a black background, and then I'll tap done. And now we can customize it. So going back to that menu on the left, I'm starting with stroke path. Everything here is going to be set to none. Under stabilization, we're going to change amount to max, pressure to 20%, under stabilization amount to 60%, and under motion filtering amount to 55%. Then under taper, we're going to change that first size setting to max, leaving everything else as it is, and then we'll change the next size setting also to max. And lastly, we'll just toggle on classic taper. Now for shape, under input style, we're going to select touch only. Then under touch properties, for rotation, we're going to move that all the way to the right until it says follow stroke. Then under shape properties, we're going to move count jitter to the left until it says none. And finally at the very bottom, under shape filtering, we're going to select improved filtering. Now under grain, we're going to ensure that under grain behavior, moving is selected. And under movement, we're going to just ensure that it's set all the way to the left, so it says stamp. Scale is at 10%, zoom is set to follow size, rotation is at 0%, depth is at max, depth minimum and depth jitter are at none, offset jitter is toggled on, blend mode is set to multiply, brightness and contrast are set to 0%, and under grain filtering, improved filtering is checked, and under 3D grain behavior, grain follows camera is toggled off. Now for the next section, rendering, we're going to change that to intense blending. We're going to have flow set to max, wet and burnt edges are set to none, burnt edges mode is set to multiply, blend mode is set to normal, and luminance blending is toggled off. Under wet mix, we're just going to bring everything down till it says none or disabled or 0%. Then under color dynamics, we're going to do the same thing, ensure that everything is set to none or 0%. Then for dynamics, we're going to have size and opacity set to max, and then the jitter size and opacity is going to be set to none. Then for Apple Pencil, we're going to have size set to 0, opacity set to none, flow set to 0%, bleed set to none. For tilt, we're just going to move that up a bit to 6 degrees. And then we're going to have opacity, gradation, bleed, and size all set to none. And we want size compression toggled on. Under barrel roll, we're going to leave size at 0%, and opacity and bleed are going to be set to none. For cursor outline, we're going to have none checked. And then under hover, estimated pressure, we want that to be about 6%. Then under hover fill, we're going to have all selected. Then under properties, we're going to have use stamp preview and orient to screen toggled off. We're going to have preview size set to 50%, smudge pull set to 75, brush behavior maximum size set to max, minimum size set to none, maximum opacity set to max, and minimum opacity set to none. Then under materials, we're just not going to touch anything here. Then under about this brush, we can give our brush a name, sign it, and then tap done in the top right. Now to test out my new brush, I'm going to create a new layer and then turn off my original dots layer. Then I can use my new brush to get these beautiful evenly spaced lines. I personally love to use this brush for all of my hand lettering. It's really nice because it just takes all the guesswork out of it by ensuring that all of my lines are the same width, but still maintains that hand-drawn look to them. When I'm ready to fill my letters with color, I will go in with any other solid brush like the monoline brush and close all those gaps. That way I can easily fill in each letter. I really hope that this video has helped you to make your own dual line brush and it makes your lettering or whatever you choose to use it for that much simpler. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!